Then I also visited the community through my project, through my master's project. And I realized that, they do not waste. For them, waste is nothing. In fact, there was this one organization in Latur where they request people to give them clothes and they make mat out of it. And they are super beautiful. And then after marriage, the surprise happened because there was nothing called waste at my in-laws' place. This is a wine bottle and we grow plants. We propagate it. And then there's also one, I think I found it, someone throwing it. And I just said, give it to me. I'll grow my plant. It's quite surprising. The days when I'm very stressed, I'll just go out in my balcony. I sit there with the plants for 10 minutes and I think my stress goes down.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sustainably Curious. This episode is a slightly different format that we started recently. It's called Brewing SustainabiliTea, and where we speak to guests to discover some of the day-to-day changes that they've implemented in their homes, in their lives, to live more mindfully. Super excited to have Kashika here. So we connected a few weeks back, and I really liked some of the changes that she's done at her home, the philosophy that they follow. And I thought it'd be great to go over some of that, showcase it on this episode. So Kashika, great to have you here. Would love to get started with your introduction first and then we can get into it. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you. So I am Kashika and I'm based out of Gurgaon. My journey for this started from aspiring to become a doctor and then going in the engineering field and then, joining CSR because I did my master's in development. So through CSR, I actually visited a lot of communities, a lot of people on ground I have come across, and life happened and I actually entered the sustainability field. So I'm working as a sustainability manager now. That's how I've come into the space of sustainability.
Awesome. So I know we discussed this a couple of times, but would love to know, some of the inspiration or triggers that have helped you become more sustainable in your day-to-day life. It could be from your personal journey, from professional, what you're seeing outside. What led to some changes in your own life?
Yeah. So I think during my field visit only, that was the major trigger. In 2012, I was working with one of the NGOs and working as a waste management coordinator. They were using food waste in the temple premises to convert that into a compost within 8 days. So that was a UN funded project that I did. But I was also doing a lot of workshop for the youth. Then I also visited the community through my project, through my master's project. And I realized that, they do not waste. For them, waste is nothing. In fact, there was this one organization in Latur where they request people to give them clothes and they make mat out of it. And they are super beautiful. I mean, even and I have at my parents' place because that was before marriage when I went. So I bought a mat and they're pretty reasonable. And that is kind of generating livelihood for those blind people who've been abandoned by their family. That was there. And then after marriage, the surprise happened because there was nothing called waste at my in-laws' place. I used to throw something, but I was not allowed to after marriage because even the smallest of toys of my great grandparents were preserved like anything. So that changed me a lot because their way of living, their way of preserving things at home was very different from what I saw at my parents' place.
Very nice. So I have a few questions. One, I think, from your experience at Latur and in the community, and a few from what you mentioned at your in-laws' place. So it's a very interesting point that you noticed old clothes could become mats. How did they go about doing it? Can we try it out ourselves at home, or was there a process to this? Curious to know. I keep grappling with this question of what do we do with some of the old clothes, but that's a very interesting use case that you mentioned.
Yeah, so you actually whatever used clothes you have, you go there and you give it to them. And it's their job because they are also kind of, struggling with their day-to-day life expenses. So if it is in a very good shape, they will use it. If it is not, if you cannot do anything out of it, so they will make mats out of it. They weave it. And there's a process to do it, which the one who was heading the organization is also blind. So, and he was abandoned by his family. So he thought, why not to also, do it for somebody who has been grappling with the situation. Secondly, in Bangalore, there's an organization that takes your used undergarments and they also convert it into something that you can use it. And lastly, in Delhi NCR, you have Goonj, but they do not recycle it. They usually give it to the underprivileged people who can use it.
Got it.
So that's how, sarees, especially a lot of sarees they got from the ladies who were,
Yeah.
because in Maharashtra area, you have a lot of people who wear sari, like it's part of their tradition. So they get a lot
Hmm.
of saris from them. And that's how they make like huge mats. Not just like yoga mat, and you can use it on your table, you can use it in your home. It ways like multiple mats,
Mhm.
multiple way of using clothes they have.
So, like, what is the startup that you mentioned in Bangalore that takes,
I'm
the use?
forgetting the name of the
Okay, no
organization. I
problem.
can actually let you know once I have it. It's something
Mm.
called Recycle only, but I'm forgetting the name exactly. But they
Okay,
do it. They
no.
have started in Bangalore. They're
Yeah,
planning to expand in other cities because they're getting really good response. Because
yeah.
nobody has. I mean, till now, I have also not come across a lot of organizations who are reusing used undergarments.
Yeah, got it. And yeah, you mentioned Goonj. I also came across this startup called Share at Doorstep. They take, like, used clothes or old clothes, and they usually tie up with partners like Goonj or other NGOs. But basically, they map folks who want to donate old items to someone who has a need for it, and fairly seamless in terms of you can just book it. They'll come and pick it up from your house. It's a smooth experience. Yeah. You
So
were
it's in
mentioning,
Delhi and
yeah, I no, it's across, like, I think all the metros. So their website is shareatdoorstep.com. They're available in Gurgaon, Bangalore as well, and other metros. Yeah. Yeah, you're mentioning it. Your in-laws' place, like, nothing gets wasted. What were some of the top 3 or 4 things that you came across that you probably didn't think, that I never thought of this, like, kind of moments?
One was my husband's great grandfather's iron. One day when I was getting late for my office and our steam iron was not working, my father-in-law took that out and he was like, I have this iron. It is super heavy. I mean, and
Yeah.
the way he has kept it, there was no rust on it. I was shocked. That was one thing. Second was my in-laws got married in 1988, and there was this album they were showing me one day, and then we went for a dinner. My husband was wearing a denim shirt. So my mother-in-law asked me, do you know where is this shirt coming from? I said, she said, this is mine, the one that you saw in the picture. That was shocking. And it
Yeah.
was actually looking really new. I mean, how can somebody keep it in that way? In 1988 shirt is like looking fine on my husband. I thought he bought it at the time of wedding. And lastly, nothing was a waste. Even a screw, they would keep it because they love
Mm.
tinkering. My father-in-law,
Yeah.
my husband, my husband's grandfather. Everybody is in that tinkering. So
Mm.
you are not allowed to waste anything. Even the food was also not allowed. I mean, I have had this habit of usually, not eating my food. I would leave it. Not that I intentionally do it, but it was a habit that I developed. But my father-in-law ensured and my husband ensured that there should not be anything left in your plate.
And so, like, you mentioned the clothes that have stayed for years. Like, is there something they do differently to ensure it's still in top quality? Like, or what's the magic behind keeping things for so long?
I don't know. I mean, maybe the way I used to keep my clothes were very rough. They keep it as if, they would preserve it as a baby.
Yeah.
That he once, I mean, they wouldn't wash clothes a lot many times.
Uh-huh.
Then they would
Yeah.
iron it and they would ensure that they keep it properly in the place in
Yeah.
their cupboards, and they have proper muslin clothes to save things and all. So the
Mm.
way they keep their clothes is not rough. It's like, it's a very
Yeah.
important thing for me. I bought it with my hard earned money. Why should I throw it?
Yeah.
So my husband's toys were also kept in that way, even though they were kept in like one of the areas where they are just, lying there. But
Got
if
it.
a child would come at home, he will not
Yeah.
be able to identify whether they're new or old. They look that new.
Very
In
nice. Yeah.
fact, my husband's mother-in-law's toys were also preserved and they've kept it in like a proper bag and they've
Yeah.
displayed it. They would ensure every week it gets cleaned. It should not get ruined. And whenever I used to see something, I mean, I would go in shock that how do these people keep such things? In
Very
fact, my
nice.
mother-in-law is also like, she's very fond of plants. So everything which
Mm.
is a food waste would go for composting. So
Got
nothing
it.
is a waste at their place.
And what are some of the things that you've implemented in your Gurgaon house, taking inspiration from some of these? Like, are there some things that you carry in your own home?
Yeah, so I mean, I do not waste what bottles like this. This is a wine bottle, and we grow
Nice. Yeah.
plants. We
Yeah.
propagate it. And then there's also one. I think I found it. Someone throwing it, and I just said, "Give it to me. I'll grow
Wow.
my plant."
So these
And
are
next,
money plants.
yeah,
What
money
type of plants?
plants.
Okay, got it.
I have this habit of going around and taking a cutting from everywhere and regrow at home. So I have a lot of money plants at home.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And I also learned resin art. So we bought
Yeah.
this table, and
Okay.
the table has like these dry, what you call potpourri. So
Uh-huh.
whatever was left, I've
Yeah.
made this painting like a resin art of my parents.
Oh, that's
This
very
was
nice. Yeah.
from
Yeah.
my sister-in-law's Jayamala. This one had,
Uh-huh.
so I used it here. I also collected some of these stones from beach. I also
Yeah.
have a lot of sand that I got from
Okay.
Goa. These pearls are again from that Jayamala which they were throwing, and I said, "No, you
Uh-huh.
give it to
Uh-huh.
me. I'll use it in my raisin art." So raisin
What
art is
what's the
also like
base?
very.
What is it? The base? Yeah.
It's this is MDF base, and I have
Okay.
used this raisin over here, and then everything was there.
Wow.
And recently, my cousin got married, so they gave us invites in these boxes.
Yeah.
We have like 4, 5 boxes, and
Uh-huh.
these boxes we haven't thrown. We have used it as like these boxes.
Got it.
So
So how do you
these
use
are
these?
like,
What use cases have you put that to?
yeah. So these are cardboard boxes, and my husband
Uh-huh.
has used it to actually preserve things and make it as a
Okay.
storage box. So we have
Nice.
like 4, 5 boxes like this, and every time we get any invite or something, we do not
Yeah.
throw it. So that's how even the cartons at our home is used as storage. Any of
Yeah.
our carton, we do not throw it until it goes in that space.
Got it.
And even Nerula's,
Yeah.
they give ice cream in this plastic box. They've
Yes.
used
Yeah.
it to grow plants. The
Very
food that
nice.
we get from outside
Yeah.
in plastic, I do not throw that. I have like huge quantity of that, but I make it. Sometimes I make it a pot for my plants for repotting. I've used avocado seed, which my husband
Yeah.
saw as one of the videos. So he has helped me grow, and now there are roots coming out. It is not very easy to grow avocado
Yeah.
seed. So
Got
that
it.
we are using.
No, that's amazing, and especially the cardboard boxes, or like like you showed the invite. When we order from Amazon or any other e-commerce brand, we typically get boxes and they just pile up. Let's say we order from Blinkit, there are bags that come. I'm talking about like my wife and I keep like thinking how to reuse it. We found some use cases. We converted one box to like a photo collage, which we put up on like a frame of sorts. But then a lot of times we don't know what to do and the boxes just pile up, right? So what have you like? Are there some, apart from like storing a few things? Like, how else have you used boxes around your house?
I actually learned using one of the arts online where
Uh-huh.
what they do is make cut. They make like leaf shape out of it, and they make a
Uh-huh.
new artwork out of it. I haven't tried it yet. I really want
Okay.
to. I have got like, you make it with your clay and
Yeah.
Fevicol and everything. You just give it a shape and then you apply that. So that
Mm.
becomes a very beautiful,
Like a
and
decor for the house,
decor, yeah,
basically.
home
Yeah.
decor you
Yeah.
can make. So there are
Cool.
tutorials online which I've seen,
Yeah.
but because
Okay.
because of recent things, I've not been able to do
Yeah.
it. I have to do it. Blanket packets, we keep it.
Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of stuffs to keep, so we
Yeah.
reuse it. I don't throw. They're so scribbled. It's like a proper
Yes.
scribbling done on those packets. So really don't feel like throwing them. So I keep it. You
Yeah.
won't believe I have like my bed is full of these bags. I do not throw it. I use it, and if
Okay.
anybody is coming at my place and asking for any paper bag, cloth bag, anything, I have like
Nice.
huge
Yeah,
quantities.
got it. Yeah. And so what we've done is like, with blanket bags, usually like Blinkit takes it back as well. So like, that's one. And the other is the smaller bags we use it for in our society, they take dry and wet waste separately. So for wet waste, we use those bags rather than the plastic garbage bags that, the black ones. We've stopped using those and moved to any brown bag, or like sometimes we have newspaper in the house. So like, we'd use that. But yeah, so I'd love to segue into another topic. So, I heard from someone say that, there are 3 R's in sustainability, like, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So would love to know, how do you see your lifestyle against these three? Like, what are some of the things that you have incorporated maybe in reducing consumption or like reusing or recycling as well?
I think more of reuse and recycle, because now
Mhm.
I have started using food waste to make compost at home.
Okay.
I have this bottle, plastic bottle of 5 liters, because there was this water crunch in our society, so you had to get the
Mhm.
water from outside. So
Yeah.
I'm using that, and
Okay.
in that water only I'm adding whatever food waste is there. So it gets fermented within the water, and I have started giving it to my plants, and they're just happy. My plants feel
Very
very
nice.
happy with that water. And then there is this 10 liters of water bottle in which I have grown bamboo. So it has grown
Okay.
huge.
Very nice.
That
Yeah.
I have done. But I wouldn't say my or yes, because something happened in our lives, that reduction also happened. The consumption
Mm.
reduction happened. That, a lot of issues were there, because of which if I compare my this year's consumption to 2023's consumption, it has gone
Yeah.
down. Like
Got it.
drastically, it has gone
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
There's also one reason, like we were checking on our expenses on Swiggy and Instamart,
Yeah.
Swiggy, Instamart, and Blinkit. So we actually checked, and it was costing us 20,000 a month, only
Oh,
Blinkit and Instamart, because we were too lazy to go out. And that day I realized that no, this is not the right way of living life. We'll go out, we'll buy it from like local market. And now it has become a habit, just because recent events of my health happened. Otherwise,
mhm.
we
Yeah.
both ensured that every Sunday we would take our cloth bags and go and buy fresh vegetables, whatever we need. Nowadays we are ordering, but it'll, of course, once I'll get back on my normal
Yeah.
lifestyle, I'll again reduce it, because I really don't know, like online every time it comes, it's not even fresh. I mean, I
Yeah.
have checked and I have raised complaints like 10 times, because they
Mm.
do not serve you the fresh vegetables. So
Yeah.
the and now my husband, like, he's more of a gadget person and I'm more of an art person. So
Yeah.
even now when we go traveling, he would
Mhm.
look around, and wherever he'll see fresh vegetables, he'll quickly tell me, "Oh, we can just buy it," which is a very drastic change, has come in a person who used to feel like too lazy to go out, even a smallest thing. He would be like, let's do Instamart, let's do Blinkit. So
Yeah.
our Blinkit, Instamart orders
Mm.
have gone down from, like, say 15 to 20 in a month to minimum of 3. And that too when it is urgently required, when somebody is
Yeah.
at home and really
Yeah.
cannot go.
Yeah.
That
No, I
has
think
happened.
that's great. I think, like, obviously these platforms are great, from a convenience standpoint. But if we can put a little more effort, then it can be more balanced, and we can reduce over reliance on such platforms. Like, are
Yeah.
also like not good. So yeah, like in our own lifestyle as well. So we've consciously reduced I think, like, consumption or like ordering. I think last couple of years, barring like one or two function related purchases, like we've not really bought any. And linked to that is also, like, I think, like, we've focused more on our personal health. That has I've started wearing clothes that, in fact, funnily enough, like, I had a shirt from 2003 which started to fit, and I just
Nice.
kept it. And I was just super happy that I was able to wear it just last week. So trying to see, like, if we can keep things for longer and use it rather than buy newer items. And I think with food as well, we use Blinkit a lot, even like Zomato, but we've consciously reduced it. There's a local grocery store nearby, so we have two dogs, so, like, we go for a walk every morning, and so it's at an additional 200 meters. So as much as possible, we try to do that. But obviously, there are days where there's something not available and the cook is there and we need it immediately, so we'll order Blinkit and not feel guilty about it. But I think, like, as long as there's a good balance and we are conscious of hey, like, we can plan better, we can take
Yeah.
some time and
Right.
do these things rather than just winging it last minute. I think that's sort of been the philosophy. In terms of reuse, yeah, like, it's more recently, I think we've started thinking of shifting to things that are non-discardable. Like, so I have a ink pen here. The previous guest, Priya Regmi, so she mentioned about using ink pens. So just got, like, ink pen from which was there, like hero pen, like my wife had from her childhood. And then this was brill ink. I don't know if you remember these, like, as kids, we used to use this in school, using that over ballpoint pen, because otherwise, like, you just discard ballpoint pens. And felt like, okay, let's just use pencils or this, so that we don't have to keep throwing plastic every now and then. So those are some of the things on reduction and reusability. And Recycling, yeah, like, share at doorstep was a great discovery for us. We have used them once, but I plan to, like, use them like maybe once in 6 months to when we want to declutter our home. It's a great service to, like, rely on rather than just throwing it to waste. So those are some things that we've incorporated here.
Yeah, with that pen thing, I remember we gifted this Radha Krishna to our in-laws,
Yeah.
and they used pen to make bansuri. So they do not throw one-time use pen also. They will make
Hmm.
art out. My mother-in-law is also into too much art. So she will
Yeah.
reuse it. She'll make an art out of it. There, so it's like their home is called a sustainable home. So
Yeah.
that ways. But yeah, I mean, even this whole consumption standpoint, I think things have
Yeah.
gone down. Not just like a lot of factors when we saw the expenses that were going
Mm.
high, and not getting fresh vegetables. So
Yes.
that
Yeah.
has gone
Got it.
down
Yeah.
drastically for us.
What are some things you wish you want to do more of, but you haven't yet? Like, are there things on your wish list as well?
To become more, I would say more of health conscious, because
Mm.
eating out and then sometimes the food gets wasted there
Yeah.
also. We ensure, like, if we're going out for dinner and we're left with food, either we will get it back home,
Yeah.
or if we do not wish, we'll give it to someone who has not eaten the whole day. We'll look for
Mm.
people specifically before coming home to give the food.
Yeah.
But I think like these food, they usually give it in the plastic,
Yes.
all these containers. I want to reduce that as well. I
Yeah.
think my recent health issues maybe have increased the number of orders from outside, which I want to
Mm.
actually, reduce and start cooking healthy at home only.
Yeah.
In fact, using AC all the time is something painful, not because of the bill, that electricity bill we get it, but
Yeah.
last night, like, I was standing outside in my balcony and I realized that floor was actually burning. I couldn't stand there
Yeah.
because of, this AC thing. So I recently discovered one page. This lady gives you like a lot of ideas to how to live life sustainably, wherein she has talked about, you remember, like the coolers that we used to have at
Yes.
home.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
you used to
With
use those.
water. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I mean, I'm forgetting again the name of it. That you can use it as a curtain, and if you will actually sprinkle water on that, the air
Okay.
that would come inside, it will be
Yeah.
actually cold. So you can reduce the use of your ACs, which
Yeah.
I really want to do it, because
Yeah.
it is not only causing, like, yeah, too much habit of sitting in AC, but also there are a lot of factors. I mean, the painful thing is my plants are also lying near that.
Yeah.
And I've lost a lot of plants because they dried up because of this heat. So I want to
Yeah.
reduce that consumption. I want to reduce ordering food from outside so that this plastic
Yeah.
thing goes out of my life. I have also stopped using my plastic bottles.
Yeah.
We order this oil from one of the
Hmm.
companies, and they deliver oil in these glass bottles, and they
Okay.
also have this thing that if you will give them the glass bottle back,
Okay.
they will
Okay.
give you some pointers. So with those points you can again shop with them. So those bottles are also glass bottles. Even the water bottles that I'm using are also glass bottles. They are again my wine
Yeah.
or beer bottles that we kept, we saved
Yeah. Yeah.
those. And I've kept like a lot of these caps of these bottles. So I'm going to
Yeah.
make like a table out of that from resin art.
Wow. That is a very nice use case, actually. Because we have a few bottles and they're there. We've not used it, but I think like the plants usage and the using of the caps to do artwork or decor is a great idea. On the food bit, what at least, like, I won't say we are consistent with it, but if there are restaurants nearby which we are ordering from, I tend to, like, at least the last couple of times I've gone there with boxes, like, so that they don't, like, pack it in plastic. So give them, like, 3-4 boxes, then or those steel boxes, and have been getting it from that, because there are some days where, like, the cook doesn't come and so on, so, like,
Yeah.
and we are busy with something, so we have to order. But if it's nearby, then I try to see if I can just go there and use these South Indian places are very quick. So usually the wait time is also like just 5 minutes or so. So I'm okay with the 15-20 minutes of going there and getting it back.
Yeah, we actually stay in that area which is not nearby anything. I mean,
Ah,
it's very
yeah,
secluded,
got
and
it. Yeah.
at night also it is not like safe for us to go out. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
becomes like a constraint for
Yes.
us in the
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying, and I think I hope I'll be, because I've now started following those pages where these people, they also tell you some of the ways
Yeah.
to make changes in your life. One thing I have to like really focus on myself is like health of mine and my husband, because we
Mm.
need to make some of the lifestyle changes as well. We both are
Yeah.
struggling with health issues these days because,
Got it.
you
Yeah.
know, a lot of work stress and everything
Yeah.
happens, like personal stress. A lot of things are happening around. So healthy lifestyle is what is my aim in like
Yeah.
going forward. And I'm trying like very
Yeah.
slow. I hope I'll pick up the pace.
So I'm on a career break. So I think, like you rightly said, I haven't been able to, like, when I had a working, like, career, like, building a startup, all of that. At that point, my health was not a priority. I would say, like, now I'm on a break. So health, I can see I'm able to dedicate. But yeah, I'd love to keep a balance. And that's the challenge, I think. How do you do this but also mindfully, because a lot of things, like I said, if your personal health is good, it also takes care of a lot of things around you. So I'm consciously trying to put effort and see if I can keep time, dedicated time, like, every week for like going to the gym and so on.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick on a couple of things. One is composting is something that we want to do but we have not gotten into. So for someone thinking about starting composting and all that, like, how would you recommend we start exploring this? Like, is it DIY? Like, should we do something? Yeah, I would love to know that.
So for composting, like if I make tea, so I
Yeah.
after like pouring my tea, the tea leaves I don't throw it. I wash it and I just accumulate in a box for like
Mm.
few days. And then I like add it to my plants. Even
Okay.
green tea also I don't throw at all. Tree leaves
Okay.
I do not throw. All my plants have that.
Yeah.
Then
This is the
secondly,
tea
like
tea
keeping the,
powder. You're talking about the tea
yeah,
powder. Like
yeah,
you would.
tea. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I will wash it because you poured
Yes.
sugar, so you
Yeah.
shouldn't give it. There are days when the milk gets soiled. So what I'll do is
Yes.
I'll mix it with water and
Hmm.
then I add it to the plants. That is
Okay.
also like a very good nutrition. Then I have kept this, as I mentioned, I've kept this big bottle and there's water
Yeah.
inside it. Whatever is getting soiled, I just add it. Even banana peel, I don't throw.
Yeah.
Onion, I do not throw, like onion peel, I do not throw. If
Mm.
there's tomato that is getting soiled and near soiling, so I'll add it to
Yeah.
that bottle. And when you'll open it, you'll realize that, the methane gas is there inside. You
Okay.
open it and then it's getting fermented. And when I give
Yeah.
it to my plants, honestly, I see the change, like how they're growing in these summers, especially. These
Yeah.
things we keep on adding. And recently, what happened, I think we did not realize there was this can of beer kept
Hmm.
inside our refrigerator for like ages. We did not even realize, because now we are like restricted on our alcohol consumption. We do not do it that much.
Hmm.
Earlier, it was like earlier days of marriage we used to do, but now
Yeah.
it's barely. I mean,
Yeah.
barely 3 months, once in 3 months.
Got
So
it.
that beer was there, and I thought, what should we do? I added it to my curry patta, and I saw that growing like anything. So that ways. And
Nice.
also, I mean, sometimes you can use even the curd with water if your curd is not that
Huh.
great. If like in Delhi, if
Yeah.
you keep something or other outside, not in your
Huh.
refrigerator, it's just gone. So
Yeah.
that day we left curd outside, so just mixed it with water and added to all the plants. So
Nice.
that's the
Okay.
best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Then in
Got
that
it.
case, you do not waste it.
Yeah. Do you use, I mean, do you get like milk packets or like is it milk delivered to your home
The milk comes
directly?
in bottle, glass
Bottle,
bottle,
glass bottle.
and
Okay,
then we
got it.
have to return it to the person.
Nice. Is that a localized service or is it like a brand that does it for you?
No, no. So we actually, so in that, my mom, I would give the credit. Wherever she goes, she'll just find a nearby dairy and
Ah,
she will ensure that it is a pure cow milk.
ah,
The
okay.
ghee should also be pure. She
Yeah.
would go herself and check. So she found
Okay.
this one in this area. And
Okay.
then she told me, it's better to take it from him. So 1 liter of bottle he would
Yeah.
deliver in the morning.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then next time he would come, he'll take the glass bottle back. That's how we are
Nice.
using.
That's very nice. Okay. Yeah. And do you also grow like food at your home or have you tried growing things that you can consume as well?
That has not happened yet.
Okay.
because we live in a flat, right?
Yeah.
So you have space constraint as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my mother-in-law did it
Okay.
for consumption. Not that at that great quantity, but yes, one of my aunt, she's there. So she grows everything. She has a kitchen garden as well
Yeah.
as the terrace garden. So
Hmm.
even like the vegetables are growing in her own place
Okay.
because they have
Nice.
a huge house. So it becomes easier to manage these
Yeah.
plants on rooftop and covering it and the way you want to maintain it. She also has this greenhouse where she keeps the plants so that the ambient temperature should be maintained. That way she's
Nice.
doing it. But in
Yeah.
my place, I'm not able to because there's a space constraint. I tried doing
Yeah.
it, but the heat where we stay, like the
Yeah.
sun rays are like direct. So it gets
Okay.
difficult for me to manage it. But otherwise, yeah, propagating my plant. If my one of my plant is dead, I would ensure that I'll take it and use it as in another
Yeah.
pot so that it can act as a compost for me. It's like a
Very
fertilizer for
nice.
them.
Cool. Yeah. No, well, thinking of like, exploring composting at home. So, but have been procrastinating. So hopefully we get started with it.
I also learned it like from some when I saw somebody. Actually, the thing is, I think I'm very close to my plants, right? My if
Yeah.
my plant, one of my plant is dead, I would feel so bad. I mean, I'll try every possible way to regrow it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've seen again my mother-in-law doing these things at home,
Mm-hmm.
like reusing banana peel,
Yeah.
even not she doesn't throw these eggshells. She'll use
Okay.
it. She'll just give it to the plants.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
everything
Yeah.
she eats, it's for the plants as well.
Great. You would have loved connecting with Priya the 2 weeks back. So she also is a plant lover, and she was mentioning that she also talks to her plants sometimes,
Yeah,
and takes a lot of care in growing the garden.
yeah. I also talk to them sometimes. Like if I'll see they're
Yeah.
dying, I'll be like, please don't do this. Please, no. I'll take care of you. So yeah, I also do that. I mean, it's quite surprising. The days when I'm very stressed, I just
Yeah.
go out in my balcony. I sit there with the plants for 10 minutes, and I think my stress goes down. I wouldn't say it's just completely goes away, but
Mhm.
it goes down, and I feel much more at calm. And every day it's a responsibility to apply that, the green cloth because it's very hot. It's almost touched 15 Delhi.
Yeah, I think
So
52
use
yesterday I
that
was
green
reading. Yeah,
cloth
yeah.
and then in the evening remove that. So my husband
Mm.
sometimes gets he's very surprised that you can only do it. I can't. But he has his own likes and dislikes. Like I have my
Nice.
so, yeah.
This was great, Kashika. Like, thanks so much for sharing so openly about all the things you're doing. It's great, and will gives me inspiration to try a few things in our house as well. But I hope you enjoyed the conversation despite the power cut. I'm happy that we were able to pull this off. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for inviting, and I hope I get to see the compost at your place soon.
Oh yeah. Sure. I'm gonna message you as we try that out. I'm sure we would love some inputs if you're doing it right or not.
Sure, sure.